about you, but I'm always ready for sleep. But I don't know about a sleep experiment. This doesn't sound good. And we'll find out how not good it is here in a moment. So let's see what IMDb has to say about this one. What begins as purely scientific study quickly spirals out of control. All right. See, I told you. No sleep experiments. Sleep, yes. Experiments, no. All right. So, as usual, at the top here, this was sent to me as a screener, so I'll let you guys know that. And this is coming, I guess it's been out, I guess, or around, but I guess it's coming new out on Prime Video here shortly. So, or by the time you guys catch this video. So, I'll try to keep this spoiler free as possible. There's a little bit to talk about at the end, but I will try to keep that as spoiler free as possible, so you guys get a fair chance at watching this one fairly. So, yeah, this one is one of those movies that I guess the true horror. I mean, well, here it lists as thriller, so we'll go with that. Um, it's a little bit dramatic and definitely a thriller. Maybe a touch of drama in there. I don't know. So you can add a couple of things, but the true horror of it doesn't really come until the end. And until then, you just kind of have to bear with the film and kind of go with it. It's kind of a lead up to obviously the excitement, or when the experiment is coming to a head or getting towards the end. Um, but the basics of what's going on here is that in an isolated area, as I guess, um, four patients are put into basically this chamber, and they're not supposed to sleep for 30 days. And as this, and then I should say, there's two scientists who are running this experiment, along with a soldier who's kind of monitoring and making sure that the scientists are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that the patients, or the subjects here, I should say, because they call them subjects 3, 4, and so forth, are complying with whatever the scientists need them and ask them to do. So that's basics of who's in the film, and what is going on here. So yeah, the patients, subjects, are in this chamber, and they have to stay awake for 30 days, and then um, every certain amount of hours, one of the scientists will sit down with them in a glass, a special section of the chamber. Obviously, the scientists are not in the chamber; they're outside. But they ask them some series of questions, and a little bit of familiar, maybe seen something like that before. As far as when you see the kind of questions, they're kind of showing them pictures and asking them what they see, and they show them over and over and over, and so forth. They asked them before they went in the chamber. Then once they're in the chamber, they kind of ask them, repeatedly, what is being seen and so forth. You can guess that sometimes they're cooperating, sometimes they're not. The more tired they get, things change. They get very little food. And then in this chamber, there's some gas that's injected in there from time to time as well. So those are the kind of elements that are going on here. Then outside of the chamber, you have basically a unique relationship between the two scientists, and then this other soldier that's outside, kind of monitoring this. He kind of comes and goes. He's there, not there. So the scientists you get to see them a little bit alone. Apparently they're either married or they're a couple. But there's still something, I don't know, a little off between them. I don't know. It's kind of hard to see them, being a couple, but you kind of, they are. Um, but I won't give away too much. But they haven't. One's really the science. They're both scientists, but I guess they have different ways of approaching things, and you kind of see that as the experiment goes on, and I think the soldier guy kind of leans on the woman to do what he wants to be done as far as the experiment, while the husband, the guy, scientist, it's kind of, almost wants to do things in a different way, or is not willing to do certain things that maybe the soldier wants to be done, and I'll leave that for you guys to see. um, but so you get a lot of time with the scientist, and kind of seeing them have these conversations and so forth. And as this goes on, you kind of learning a little bit about them, and some of the things that's happened in their past, and that's going to play a little bit of part as this goes on. So I think one of the interesting things, and one of the ways they grab you at the top of the movie, is when it kind of opens. You see kind of what is going to come at the end of the film, and that kind of gives you a tease. And definitely when they showed that, I was like, oh yeah, that's what I'm here for. I want to see that. So of course, you're sitting there waiting for that. As the movie kind of ticks on, they have a couple of points where they kind of tease that again. So just in case you forgot what is going to happen, or what's coming, and you might be really of interest, um, they'll tease it and remind you. So, if any point you're kind of like, oh, and I don't know if I want to continue this, they're going to throw that tease in there to remind you that, hey, no, you want to stay for this part. So yeah, it is a little to sit through, like this experimenting, like their conversations. Both of them have a little bit of accent, so it honestly took me a little bit to kind of adjust and pick up everything they were saying. It is in English, but they had accents, so it did, honestly take me a little bit to kind of adapt and catch everything they were saying. Um, but you're gonna have those conversations, and you're gonna have the experiment. There are things to pick up on, and things not. I don't think they give you a whole lot, as far as once things are revealed much later about what is truly going on here. They don't give you a whole lot. There might be small pieces here or there. They kind of once things are revealed, they will kind of tell you, okay, this was said, and that was said, and blah blah. But when those things are said, they really don't mean a whole lot, and you don't really have enough, a lot of background there, because you don't see much more than the patients kind of coming in, and so forth. Every once in a while, they do show these phrases and so forth. Um, I'm not totally sure what what those phrases were, totally, to be honest. Um, but they some of them were good sayings. I don't know. But yeah, it is a little to kind of sit through, and kind of it does will kind of test your patience, as far as getting to that part that they kind of tease, and you're kind of like, yes, that's what I'm here for. Um, Obviously, as the patients stay in this chamber longer, the more interesting it kind of gets inside the chamber. And things get a little bit more crazy, because, they become really exhausted. They don't want to comply as much. There's obviously consequences if they don't comply. So I guess one of the things that, another thing that's kind of interesting but weird, and I don't know why they didn't do more of, is they didn't really take you into the chamber too much. A lot of the chamber is almost from the viewpoint of the scientist. There's kind of a glass window, and you're looking in. They don't really film a lot inside of the chamber, so stuff is happening in there from time to time. And obviously, the longer they're in there, at the beginning, it's just the four of them kind of just sitting there, doing nothing. They have, early on, they have a scene where they're just kind of talking and asking each other questions, and just kind of biding their time. um, but then, when things kind of pick up, they don't do a lot of filming inside the chamber, which is interesting. I don't know why they didn't do that. Not certain things are happening in there, but they didn't kind of take the cameras in there to kind of show it. You're seeing it more from the outside in. I don't know why. Um, that was kind of interesting that they didn't do that. Um, they will eventually, but just throughout most of the film, they don't, until the main part kind of happens, the ending. Um, as far as the ending, of course, I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. It does reach a part where it's good. It kind of gives you the action. The action picks up. Um, the stuff that's teased at the beginning part. You kind of see what eventually happens. Um, was it kind of everything I wanted? Maybe not. It's still good enough. Um, I'm trying to think of the way to say this without spoiling anything. I guess at the end, once you kind of see the results of what happens to these patients and so forth, and the scientist, and everybody kind of involved in this kind of group, they kind of give you some more information about this experiment overall and so forth, and kind of go through that, and then show you a bunch of stuff as the movie kind of then concludes. And I don't know about that. Like, that part I wasn't sure about. Like they kind of show what happens to what is happening in this circumstance with these patients and these scientists. And then they jump to this kind of, showing you the experiment overall. And apparently, this is not the first one or the first time that this has happened. And so they kind of, make that point. And then I was kind of hoping it would jump back and kind of maybe give a more solid ending to what just happened to this group. But it didn't. The movie just kind of ended. And that I wasn't, I didn't like. That I didn't like. I don't know, like, I felt there was still something to be said or something to be shown more, with where they left it off. But I guess, you were supposed to get, the real point was on that there was more experiments and blah, blah, blah. And they show some interesting stuff, and I don't want to let any of that out, let you guys see that. I don't want to spoil any of that. There's some interesting stuff there. But I was just kind of hoping that it would, after they showed that, it might jump back to what just happened and kind of, finish it and whatever. And, they leave it in one place and okay. But, like, I don't know. I just felt that something else needed to be said or something else needed to be shown. I'm not sure what, but I felt they needed to go back and just kind of end it, like, leave it in a better spot. I don't know. But then they show you some crazy stuff. So if you're looking for the horror of the movie, you're really going to have to wait. I mean, there's some blood in a certain part of the film, but the true, for us horror fans that are waiting, you're going to have to wait till the end of this movie to really get that of it. You're just going to have to kind of sit through the experiment and watch it kind of unfold, and the scientists to kind of, have their weird conversations, and then this soldier that's kind of in the way, and you're kind of like, there's certain things that I think you horror fans will know and expect that's coming, and then there's, the overall general things that is happening here. Really is going to be hard to kind of figure out until they kind of explain it to you, because you don't get a lot of background on too many people until, the movie basically reached that point, especially the four people that are inside the chamber. The scientists, you get a little bit because they have conversations along the way. But the four people, they say things early on, but they really mean nothing to you because you don't know who they are. And they say things during their time when the doctors are asking them about the pictures, but, you really don't know that means anything until later when they tell you, okay, that maybe some things that were said mean stuff. So it's good that they fill you in, but really it's a little difficult to kind of piece together until it's revealed, because you just don't know a whole lot here. It kind of made sense and whatever, and I think, like I said, I don't want to spoil. Like I said, there's something else I would like to say, but I'm not going to say it because it kind of spoils things. But like I said, horror fans will kind of figure out, at least there's one pretty obvious piece of the puzzle early on that I think, horror fans or most fans will kind of figure out when this experiment kind of gets rolling. And then there are other little bit twists and turns to come. So overall, I'm going to give it 2.5 pools of blood. Just because, there's not a whole lot of action through probably 2/3 of the movie. It is just, a lot of talking, a lot of experimenting, a lot of setting up. Like I said, the ending was a mixed bag for me. I liked what happened and what happened to, um, this experiment and where it led. But I just felt like there should have been just, one more thing to just kind of really finish it for me. And even the stuff that they kind of show about other experiments, whatever, that was all right. It seemed a little odd and misplaced, but, it was okay. So I'm going to give it 2.5 pools of blood, and that is out of 5. So, and again, you guys can catch this. This will be on Prime Video, probably by the time this review is out. So with that, horrorscoryreviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews, written and video. Of course, tons of video reviews lately, mostly. So you can all find them here. So please subscribe, like, and do all those things that everybody wants you to do. But if not, no worries. It is truly okay. I thank you for your time anyway. Twitter, Facebook, information down below. Again, follow, like, and join the conversation there. If you want to talk horror, anything you want me to review, feel free to reach out to me there. And even in the comment section down below, I try to respond when I can. But if you do eventually see this movie, what did you think? What did you think of the experiment? Are you going to consider joining any sleep experiments? I certainly am not, especially in the Soviet Union. I guess this was, I guess, took back in time a little bit, so it was, I guess, the Soviet Union at the time. But whatever, anywhere in that part of the world, I'm not taking. Well, even in this part of the world, I'm not doing no sleep experiment. Forget that. So yeah, with that, I guess I'll catch you on the next review, horror fans.